Hello everybody. I hope y'all are having a good Wednesday. Uh, Not sure what my problem was last night because I think it went live tonight on everything. So who knows? Y'all know me. I don't have much luck. Uh, I think finally got it shared from YouTube for last night, but anyway, I know it's kind of late. Sorry, it's church night, and I had to go and baby, so I'd take her to meet her mama before I come home. Uh, anyway, it's also April Fool's Day, so you know, no joking around here. Uh, I was just gonna. I typed out all my notes. I printed them out today, and I've already misplaced them, so I still do have some of them on my phone, so maybe I can stay on track here. But we're still on the Holy Week, and so the Gospels. If you're going through the Gospels here, uh, it's kind of quiet about Judas's public actions on this day, but we can use it as a label it as a day that shifts from like the public ministry to the beginning of his suffering. Uh, like I said, either yesterday, day before, all my days are running together now, but we know that he taught parables and there was lots of teachings in the temple throughout the entire week. And so this shows us where Passover begins, like 2 days from this point in my story. And Jesus gets handed over to be crucified. So the next 2 days that we talk, it's going to be about some of the things that lead up to that. This is, I guess, Holy Wednesday, but I read somewhere what it was kind of called Spy Wednesday, and that was coming back on Judas being uh, kind of being a spy because he ends up, betraying the Lord. But this story also is in all four Gospels. Uh, I'm going to read out of Matthew chapter 26, verses 1 through 16, but it's also in Mark chapter 14, verses 1 through 11. It's in Luke chapter 22, verses 1 through 6, and John chapter 12, verses 1 through 8. So, uh, little side note, kind of, I guess, it's part of the story, but the leaders of Israel had already at this point decided to do away with Jesus. His presence in Jerusalem for the Passover, it kind of gave them that chance. But they were not wanting to cause a riot. And so Judas's plan helped them out with that. Judas made the plan. He went to them. And I'll read that here in just a little bit, and that's what it says, that he went to them. So he made this plan the same day that Jesus predicted his crucifixion. Uh, 30 pieces of silver. That was what was agreed upon, and I think I read somewhere that would be have been considered about a month's wage at that time. So it just shows how little regard that they had, little regard for his life that they actually had. Just a month's wage, and they were just going to be done with it. So let me go ahead and read that. And chapter 26, verses 1 through 16. It says, Now it came to pass, when Jesus had finished all these sayings, that he said to his disciples, You know that after 2 days is the Passover, and the Son of Man will be delivered up to be crucified. Then the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders of the people assembled at the palace of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas, I don't know how to pronounce it. and plotted to take Jesus by trickery and kill him. But they said, "Not during the feast, lest there be an uproar among the people." And when Jesus was in Bethany at the house of Simon the leper, a woman came to him having an alabaster flask of a very costly fragrant oil, and she poured it on his head as he sat at the table. But when his disciples saw it, they were indignant, saying, "Why this waste? For this fragrant oil might have been sold for much and given to the poor." But when Jesus was aware of it, he said to them, "Why do you trouble the woman? For she has done good work for me. For you have the poor with you always, for me you do not have always. For in pouring this fragrant oil on my body, she did it for my burial. Assuredly, I say to you, wherever this gospel is preached in the whole world, what this woman has done will also be told as a memorial to her." Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and said, "What are you willing to give me if I deliver him to you?" And they counted out to him 30 pieces of silver. So from that time he saw opportunity to betray him. Right now, I realize that I mixed up two different stories yesterday. I only mentioned it. Thank goodness I didn't try to go into deeper detail. But I mixed this story, and I read this earlier today, and it did not dawn on me. I mixed this story of this woman up with Mary, who washed Jesus' feet with her tears in her hair. And I don't remember exactly what I said to y'all last night, but I combined the two stories. So I do apologize for that. If anybody caught that, I did. I just now remember saying something about it last night, and I was like, "The story." I was talking about that, but I added this story to it, and so I apologize for that. But my focus, I do want to mention here that you realize that this woman gave this oil that she had. It was worth a lot, and it was very costly. And I just want to point out that she was preparing the Lord for his burial. I think what I said last night. She was preparing the Lord for his burial, but her heart was in the right place. I might mention that again in a little bit, so I wanted to point that out. But this is a heavy, quiet day. It reminds us that even in the quiet time, there is a bigger spiritual battle happening behind the scenes. Everything that's been going on, everything here is it's moving toward the cross. And I just, a reminder that Judas was one of the chosen. He was one of the disciples. He walked closely with the Lord. He personally saw and heard all the miracles. He knew who Jesus was. They were actually friends. He went where Jesus went for like 3 years. He stood next to Jesus doing all of this, but his heart was so far away. And so I had that. Have you ever been hurt by a close friend? How did it feel to you to be hurt by a close friend? And so, how do you think Jesus felt knowing that one of his closest friends was going to betray him for money? This is the day that those chief priests, those religious leaders, conspired with Judas to betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. So now we see that the stage is now set for Jesus' arrest, and then this betrayal is now in motion. Like it's happened. It's in there, and it's been set up. Another question I had was, but how have we betrayed Jesus? 1 Timothy 6:10, the beginning of that says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. So Judas here has agreed to betray Jesus for money, and it's only enough to get him by for a month. He, but we should use that to remind ourselves of the power of our choices. The choices here he had was to follow Christ versus that worldly gain. So we need to ponder on our loyalties and our temptations. Uh, we can be around Jesus and still miss him. You can know about him, you can talk about him, and apparently you can even follow him at a distance or even close if your heart's not there. But if you are not surrendered to him, then you're living a life that betrays him. And so I ask you again, what are we choosing? What things might we be putting ahead of God in our daily lives? Uh, I heard someone say, that 30 pieces of silver doesn't seem like all that much. And, we always all want to talk down on, so easy to judge Judas for doing it for money, yet we betray him for so much less. There's a song out by Josiah Quinn called Judas, and there's a line in there, maybe a couple lines in there that I actually do like the song because there's one line in there that gets me every time because of the truth in it. And even before I even started reading this, I already knew I was going to probably talk about this song. But it says in there, he betrayed you for money, and I did it all for free. And I was just like thinking about that, how much truth is actually in that? We want to dog and down Judas for betraying Jesus for money, and yet what did I gain by betraying him? Because I had to have that Savior, so I had to have betrayed him up until I reached out, and I'm sure I do still daily because I know that I sin daily, and so, but I did it like that song says, I did it all for free. And so, anyway, I just like it really got to me when I was listening to that song, listening to the actual lyrics of it. But also think about this. Even in my betrayal and my sin, I love Jesus. Uh, and it doesn't even come close at all to the comparison that of the love that he has for me. We will never love him as much as he loves us, and we can't even fathom that. Uh, I know I'm a sinner that led Jesus to the cross, and I can't even I won't ever be able to fully express my gratitude for it all. But I do ask for forgiveness of my sins, and I do try to give him the honor that he truly deserves for that. So I just want to tell y'all, we need to seek to be in his presence. We need to seek after a faithful life that honors them. He is our Savior. Uh, and in my last little note here, I wrote, even in the midst of this betrayal and brokenness, God's plan continues. Even in the middle of it, the Savior still died for me. He still died for us. And so just I encourage you, ask the Lord to be with you, especially in your brokenness, especially in your hope, your fear, and just ask him to teach you to trust him and his plans for you. Like I was saying, I said that I might come back and talk about this woman. This woman come in and gave everything she had, something that was worth a lot for Jesus. And then we have Judas, who was chosen. He was, 12. They were good friends. He saw things that I only wish I could have saw, and he gave him up for 30 pieces of silver. And yet, like I said, there have been times that I have given him up for free, and so it, shame on me. And so it really did. I really did a good lesson. Uh, I can sit here and just repeat myself 1,000 times, but I think y'all know what I'm saying. I think y'all get my point. But do a heart check, but understand, you know, that what's happening, what starts happening from here on out is is going to be his walk to the cross and his reasoning for it, and then what happens after that. Uh, you know, spoiler alert: they put him in a grave, and he raises 3 days later. He is still alive, and so it's a really good story. And like I said, I hope you're not just taking my word for it. Literally go to the four gospels, and this is one of, like I was telling y'all the other day, this is one of those stories that throughout the entire Holy Week, that really where all four gospels share the same story, just different points of views of it. So dig in there, get into it. It's a really good story. I mean, I'm I've spoken more tonight than I have any night because I'm really getting into it, and I'm just repeating myself. So, but thank y'all for listening. Those that are on here, thank you for the ones that'll get on here tomorrow and listen. I do. I love y'all. And if you don't know Jesus, I hope you come to know him before it's too late. And this is a good story to start with. Any of them really are. But so, good night. I'll see y'all